Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. I hope you're all having a great day today. We are road racing for the second time this season from Road America with some big news coming in just a moment. Part-time drivers in the field this weekend include Joey Hand, the number 52 for Rick Racing, and a brand new team from IndyCar and an IndyCar driver in the field. It's the Juncos, I probably said that wrong, Hollinger Racing 77 Cadillac with Stingray Robb behind the wheel. His first ever NASCAR race and the first race for that team as we have the NASCAR on Prime begins May 30th. Colors on our number 8 JRM Cadillac as we start our qualifying lap, and it's a long qualifying lap around Road America. Perfect time for some very large breaking news here in today's episode. We have announced this weekend, along with not only myself, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. All three of us will be competing in this season's Indianapolis 500, which is only 2 episodes away. It's following next episode in mid-Ohio. So we will be behind the wheel of an IndyCar for the Indy 500 as well as Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. As you see, Kyle Busch's car on your screen, my car, and Kyle Larson's car to be revealed soon as well. So big news there that 3 Cup Series regulars will be competing in the same Indy 500, doing the double, going to the Coke 600 later on in the evening. And there's some rumors that a Formula One driver might be lining up to do the Indy 500 as well, now that Monaco at this point in 2027 no longer interferes with the same day as Indianapolis. So stay tuned for some news on that. That could be coming next episode in mid-Ohio. So it is going to be one heck of a race here now as we are doing the double this weekend as we're coming towards the end of our qualifying lap. It wasn't a great lap, but it wasn't bad. But we will be doing the Amazon Prime Series race as well this weekend. And of course, our last start in the Prime Series was at Sonoma, where we won with our brand new and own team of Northern Lights Racing in that Canada Dry 77 and all-Canadian roster, of course, with Trayton Lapsevich, Alex LeBay doing some races in the car as well. But we crossed the line for a 2:03.516 going P5, so I mean, really couldn't complain about that. A very solid lap and effort here, putting us up front and on pole. It's going to maybe surprise you, the 24 of William Byron over Christopher Bell, but the surprising part is not necessarily William Byron, it's the fact that there was no sign of Shane Van Gisbergen or Connor Zilic. Zilic down in P11, SVG in P17. Very surprising for those 2 drivers. As you see, Joey Hand in 20th. Christian Eckes has returned from injury this weekend. Watch out for him in the number 6. Josh Berry back to Rick Ware. He's in 32nd. So we'll see how he does. Heim and Sanchez down the order as we come through into the Prime Series from Road America. Now in this Canada Dry 77, and actually we qualified a bit worse in the Prime Series compared to where we qualified on the Cup Series side of things. But Daniel Suarez and actually surprise up front, Tony Bradinger actually up there in 2nd position as well, and maybe another surprise in the 25. Lane Riggs up here in the mix. We as well had Andres Perez in the mix as well. Not really a surprise to see him running well. He earned his first win for Andretti Global in his Prime Series career this season after, of course, running his rookie season. First full-time season was last season in the Prime Series, and couldn't quite find victory lane with the Andretti team, but he has found it this season. And honestly, watch out for Perez to be a candidate to maybe get a Cup Series ride going into Season 6, which would be the 2028 season, as we are immediately working our way forward through this grid. And we're actually side by side here with Lane Riggs now in that 25 for the 3rd position. Only 4 laps here in Road America, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but you're running just over 2 minutes per lap, so that's the usual length pretty well of the lower series races when we do take part in them. So we'll pass the 25 of Lane Riggs through the right sweeping carousel, and we would line up Tony Bradinger for a move for the 2nd position as we came through to the tail end of lap 1. Bit of a weird exit there from her corner, and that's going to be the perfect opportunity to get a good run here down this front straightaway. We'll pull to the right. Daniel Suarez out in front. Daniel Suarez been looking very strong as well this season in the Prime Series. He is in front, in control of this race, and over the next few laps actually really struggled to reel in that number 99, which was a bit of a surprise to myself. Now I was kind of just finding a little bits and pieces of time over the penultimate lap this was here, lap 3 of 4, but Suarez was holding a fairly comfortable gap, and as we came through to the final lap, you can just see visually we start to reel in that number 99. Now the question is, we've obviously found the speed, but do we have the time? Because we simply here are on the final lap, and you can see that time continuously coming down between myself and Suarez. And right here through this final stretch of track where I feel like I'm strongest all weekend, we would reel him in that freeway insurance Honda Civic, but I don't think it's going to be enough as we continue through the penultimate turn, and actually now putting some pressure, unexpected pressure on Suarez. Do we have a chance? We go down into the final turn. It's going to be close, but he's going to get a better exit now, and it's not going to be enough, but we got close down this front straightaway. Daniel Suarez is going to hang on, and he will win the Amazon Prime Series race here from Road America. Suarez wins for Trackhouse, P2 for us, coming up just short of the team's second win. Bradinger, Riggs, as well, Carson Kvapel, all inside the top 5. How about Sage Karam inside the top 10 in a part-time start? Truex down there in P19, that's Ryan Truex. Denny Hamlin with a rough day as well. And at the bottom of the grid, Caden Honeycutt actually with a DNF in 36th position. Let's go Cup Racing Sunday from Road America.
We've got an exciting day ahead here in Road America. 2 road ringers have to fight their way to the front while Byron controls the start on quest to end his long winless streak.
Byron is up against some steep competition today, Mike, but never underestimate a driver who is determined to get back on top.
Great, boys. Great track for us in the past, or for me, I should say. Hopefully I can make it good for you guys here.
Let's have some fun today. Good car, good pit stops. Let's be on top of it.
Ready to go racing. UC Barry returns to the number 15. Heckes actually first race back, and he missed the driver's meeting. Sent to the back of the field. Returns from injury and does that. Maybe not the best strategy. Now we get ready to go racing here. William Byron leads the field to the green flag alongside Christopher Bell. We're racing here from Road America. Last episode in Talladega saw a shock winner of Parker Retzlaff getting his first Cup win as a rookie for the brand new team GMS Racing. Of course, now a great start to their season, of course, but they're not in the top 30 in the standings even after the win, so currently they are not in the playoffs. Now if Retzlaff can make the playoffs, that would be huge for him and that team, and financial funding going forward as well as we head down this long straightaway towards the heavy braking zone. Chastain wheel to wheel with the Wawa Cadillac of Kyle Larson. Now Larson's going to come out on top of that battle, and Chastain's going to back out of it and immediately open up the door for myself, but Byron and Bell have immediately gotten away from everyone now. As you can see, Chastain simply able to outbrake me as Elliott and Briscoe battle behind us there in the number 9 and the number 98 Ford Mustang there for RFK Racing. Briscoe has looked pretty solid this season. Hasn't had, the greatest start to the year, but he's not been bad, and it's been really hard to kind of judge who's the best on this season so far, because we've had so many wild races and wild finishes, and just feel like a lot of wild card tracks, and we as well have the road courses right here, back-to-back road races with Road America, then Mid-Ohio in the next episode that are really going to change things up again, I think. But nonetheless, I mean, you see some familiar faces up front today with myself, Chastain, Larson, Bell, who's got 2 wins on the season. Hendrick Motorsports has not won yet this season, but William Byron's in front right now trying to change that here, at least in stage 1, which consists of 4 laps, which means fuel is not even in the equation for the first stage, and probably stage 2 as well, which I believe will be 5 laps, so it really won't be an issue there. But the third and final stage, of course, things will continue to change up now as Byron has an early command on that ream, number 20, heading down this front straightaway up that elevation. And as we start lap 2, you can see Larson kind of putting some pressure on the 20 of Christopher Bell, as I'm actually losing contact with these guys in front of me, so struggling a little bit to remain in striking distance, and actually falling back into the reins of Ross Chastain. And you can see into the braking zone, he is within a few car lengths of myself, so kind of struggling early on in this race now in this Amazon Prime Video machine. I feel like I'm saying Amazon so much since they've, of course, come to sponsor the previously the Xfinity series, and then they're on the car. I swear I'm not sponsored by Amazon, so nonetheless, we continue to focus in on that Larson and Bell battle. Can we try to reel those two in? And right here's my strong suit. The final half of the course, you can see just a night and day difference between my pace compared to the guys in front of me, to the guys behind me on the first half of the track and the last half of the track. As soon as we hit the first half of the circuit, I'm losing time. As soon as we hit the back half, I'm gaining time. So it's a bit of a seesaw. I'm going back and forth every single lap. It's just about basically minimizing the time lost in the first half, because it seems inevitable. I'm guaranteed to lose time in the first half of the track. I'm guaranteed to gain time in the second half. So if we can just minimize the time lost, we can, of course, maximize just the lap time overall here as we continue to watch this battle in front of us now. And you can see that that gap really hasn't changed a whole lot. The one difference is we have driven away. Look at the track map. I mean, there's a lot of cars way off of what this top 4, top 5 cars are doing right here in Road America, but William Byron 5 seconds down the road, and as we come through onto this final lap of the stage, he is in total control. It's been over a season since William Byron has won. This is not the first time he's been in this scenario in his Cup Series career in this career mode. He as well had a 1 season plus winless streak early on in this career mode, and he's going through the same patch again, where last season, remember, Byron winless but was so consistent, had a terrible start to the playoffs and went out early, to the surprise of myself and probably everybody else now. But William Byron, again, been consistent to start the season, hasn't won. At least he's going to win stage 1. As he heads up the elevation, Byron down this front straightaway, your stage 1 winner in that Raptor Cadillac. Bell in second, continues his regular season point lead over Larson, myself there, third and fourth. It would end with Chastain, host of our Elliott as well. You see Kyle Busch and Logano rounding out the top 10, as well as Zilich just outside the top 10, SVG as well. So they really haven't made much forward movement. Everyone's going to pick Corey Heim all the way in the back, and you really got to wonder what's going on with Corey Heim in that number 11. He just continues to struggle after a great race a few rounds ago. Nonetheless, we do come into the pits, and we'll take the 4 tires in the field, and we made a slight wedge adjustment to tighten up the car and actually gain a spot in the pits over Kyle Larson, but not necessarily what we wanted, because if you start as an odd number, as you can see here, as we start stage 2, it puts us on the left side of the track, not necessarily where you want to be here for 5 laps. In stage 2, they are underway, and Bell is about halfway up the side of the 24, now about a quarter. Byron already just about clear. He is clear into turn 1. Bell sticks the nose back up the inside. We're side by side with Larson. We go wide on the exit of turn 1, continuing wheel to wheel, clear of the number 5 as we head down into turn number 2. But Larson's going to show the nose, but I shut the door right there about midway through the corner. It was a bit of a late kind of block on my part, but we make it work. So we settle into P3, a very calm race so far here from Road America. I mean, the trend of road course racing in this career mode is a probably calm 80% of this race, and then the final 20%, everything kind of kicks off about, you know, usually halfway through that final stage. So wouldn't be surprised again if we see that here today, as it feels like just about every single road course race, that's kind of what happens here, as we immediately, though, we're losing time to the 20 and the 24. They're just on a different level. We know the 5's fast as well, but now that I've gotten track position over him, it seems like we're actually able to manage that gap. But now that we've hit the back half of the circuit, now we're reeling in these guys in front of us now. Christopher Bell only about maybe 6 car lengths in front of us as we go through the little right bend, and that is a good opportunistic point of the track as well to gain some time as we follow him down into Canada corner. And you can see just continuing to kind of stay in his rear view mirror a little bit now, and just put some pressure on that number 20, our former teammate, defending Cup champion. He's the only other driver on the grid right now with more than 1 win to be alongside myself at 2. A very different season to start for Christopher Bell compared to his championship season last season. He won the championship, but he had 0 wins in the regular season and won 4 of the 12 playoff races. It was a dominant performance, and of course won 2 of the final 4 races on his quest to the championship. So as now actually Kyle Larson right to the back of me here into the braking zone. He's actually going to get at my left side. He's up my door, and now into the left-hander. He's going to get past me, and here comes Chastain as well. So they kind of caught me off guard there, and and Larson's going to retake P3 and try to run away, but we're going to try and keep the pressure on that number 5. Bit of a slow exit for him. That's going to open up the door again for me to lunge up the inside into the left hand of that 90-degree corner to the left, and now we retake P3. So we'll try to get back on with it. We're back into our good part of the track, so we can try to stretch that gap back out over the 5 and as well the 1 of Chastain, as we actually cut down through the grass a little bit there through the exit of the carousel. A little bit wide on exit, no big deal. So we're coming to 3 laps to go in stage number 2, and William Byron is gone. He is driven away from everybody. In stage 1, the 20 and the 5, they both kind of kept him honest. They kept him within striking distance, putting some pressure on him. Stage 2, very different scenario. Byron has opened up the wheel and said, see you later, and he is checked out well down the road in front of everybody right now. So not really any pressure from anyone to the 24. William Byron, really, I expect him to win races every season. I expect to see him win 3 or 4 races. It really hasn't happened, but road courses is not necessarily where I expected it to happen here, as he is just on form today, though, as Larson continues to pressure me, and again, looks to my left rear. He just barely got there for a brief second, but we stay clear, and we maintain that 3rd position again, continuing to fight off that 5 problems. Connor Zilic is in the pit lane, engine issues. Now, they would get it figured out before he lost a lap, so we would be coming back around to 2 to go, and Zilic is now exiting the pits right in front of the leader of William Byron, trying to keep himself on the lead lap. It's not going to happen. Byron now puts the 00 a lap down. Not the day Zilic, I'm sure, was expecting and hoping to have, as he thought he was going to be a favorite on the weekend. He's now a lap down. And as well, the 12 of Zane Smith has had mechanical issues after finishing top 2, finished second in Talladega. He's out of the race, so he's dead last as we're behind that 20 of Bell, but continuing to close now in these last few laps of racing. Can Zilic get himself back onto the lead lap? Larson actually runs into the back of us on the end of the straightaway right there. Does some damage to our rear bumper. No big deal. Didn't really unsettle anything, but we talked about it. That first half of the track, I just struggle so much compared to these guys, and you can see that gap opens up and unfortunately closes to the 5 and the 1 of Chastain behind me. But then again, it changes completely, a 180 flip-flop right here in the final half, and look at how much we've opened up the gap. You can't even barely see the cars in my mirror now, and we have reeled in that 20 coming to the final lap of stage 2, and it's right now Byron still in control with Zilic trying to unlap himself here. Now if Zilic can unlap himself, this could change everything, as we're to the back of the 20 now coming to the final lap. But Zilic, who just pitted, of course, for mechanical issues, got tires and fuel, so if he can get back to the lead lap, maybe he could stay out and of course get back up, maybe even to the front with staying out on the racetrack, and that could change his entire race now, as we're alongside Bell on this final lap of stage 2 through 1, using him up a little bit there, actually getting into his right rear quarter panel. We relinquish that position, and now we get ready for maybe another attack here down the long straightaway as we exit the corner. Bell with a better exit than I was able to get, and he's going to open that gap back up, so we're not quite close enough to make a move. And Larson again right to our back bumper, and actually still I go a little bit wide on the exit of the corner, and Larson's back into the conversation at my door here as we go through the pair of double left-handers, and we continue door to door. I'm not going to give up this position. We're here to fight and keep this track position going into the end of the stage and into stage 3 with the pit stop on the way as well. So we maintain P3, but Bell was able to open up the gap. But now we've hit our part of the track where we're just simply better, and we would use it to our advantage on the run towards Canada corner, reeling this 20 back in. Byron is long gone, and Zilic can't get past him, and here we go for maybe a move on the inside of the 20. We show the nose, he breaks us, but he leaves the door open. We fight back up the inside, near contact, we avoid it. Now wheel to wheel through a tricky part of the course now, through the penultimate turn. We'll clear the 20 around the outside. What a move into P2 on the final lap of stage 2. Now Bell tries to fight back. Not going to be enough. We'll get him on the exit. William Byron is going to come through to win stage number 2. Zilic remains 1 lap down. He'll get the free pass nonetheless. And we are going to come through to cross the stripe here for second position. That much longer after the 24 had crossed the line. And at this point, I didn't really need any adjustments. The car was driving fine. I couldn't think of anything to do. So we're going to pit for 4 tires and feel, but we're not going to touch the car because the car's fine. So I did decide to make a very slight wedge adjustment, but just knowing nothing's really going to work. S3G down in 20th. He's having a terrible day for his expectations when it comes to road racing. Zilich has to start at the back because of the free pass, so he's going to pit anyways. Sanchez actually, you see, he's not pitting, not because he's staying out, because he's out of the race. He actually had a tire failure on the last lap of the stage, and you can see this was him limping around the track. So it's going to be day over for Sanchez in that number 26 Andretti Global Honda as we take the lead in the pits. The 8 crew puts us in P1, Byron to second, and we're on the side of the track we don't want to be on, so we'll get back racing, and we're now the control car with 9 laps of racing to go. Byron actually fights back here down the front straightaway. Bell behind me, Chastain behind the 1, Larson there in 5th with Elliott in 6th as we go side by side into turn 1, knowing I'm at a disadvantage no matter what here through turn 1, and Byron is going to continue to try and go out front. We actually go side by side. You can't see it because of this terrible camera work right here, but here we are side by side into turn number 2. This is where Byron's going to have the advantage. Clears us on the exit, go a little bit wide, but now Chastain moves through into P3. He clears the 20 of Christopher Bell. Does Bell have anything to fight back? Larson and Elliott, they're side by side in the background. We've got 3 Hendrick cars in the top 5. They're having a great road course event here now, kind of looking like the Hendrick of old on road courses now. As you can see, we got some pressure from the 1. We stay clear. Bell pounces on it. He gets in front of the 1 of Chastain, and Bell back into 3rd position, but Chastain's not making it easy. He's still trying to fight back there, but Bell, at the end of it all, stays clear, takes over 3rd as we try to reel in this number 24 of William Byron, who's been putting on a clinic. He has led every single lap. He's swept the stages, 2 playoff points to his name, 20 stage points, of course, to his just regular season point tally. He has been unstoppable, and it was looking like it was going to remain the same now as we come through towards the tail end of lap 1 of stage number 3. To be 8 laps to go once we get back to the line. 2 cars out with Sanchez and Zane Smith in the 12 with his mechanical failure, and of course, like we just mentioned, a tire failure there for the 26 of Sanchez. Byron in control. Caution is out, and it's for Shane Van Gisbergen. Tire failure on the 97. That'll send him to the back. It's been a really rough day for the pair of Trackhouse drivers we expect to be in the top 3 at road courses, Zilich and Van Gisbergen. Everybody except the 97 is going to stay out because that caution is going to restart us with only 5 laps to go, meaning we just barely have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. So I was really disappointed for that caution, just simply because it takes any strategy out, and now we have to straight up fight the 24, and I feel like no one really has anything for the 24, but what we do have is a favorable line into turn 1. Alongside Byron, we edge him out for the lead into the corner now as we are side by side on the exit, but look at the speed. The 24 fights back even as we'll go wheel to wheel down towards turn 2, and we're going to try and keep this clean with the 24. We clear him, taking the lead from Byron. Goodbye 24 Raptor Cadillac. We're going to go take over this race with 5 laps to go. Thank you very much. Looking for win number 3 on the season. It would be our second road course win on the season as well, and our first win, I believe, at Road America. I don't think we've ever won here, or maybe we have won once here as we dive down into the braking zone. Maybe a little bit too hard. Byron's right on the back of us, actually getting a decent exit, but it's not enough. Byron just hit the corner simply better than I did, and now we go side by side into the next left-hander. Chastain's back into 3rd. Byron's clear with the preferred lane, and he says thank you very much, I'll be taking that lead position back. And now we got to try and keep that 24 on us. We're right to the back of him here now, down into the braking zone, showing the nose, trying to take the position back immediately, but the 24, actually I run into the left rear of him and back out of it. Now he maintains the lead. I did not want to just wreck him for the lead of this race. Now William Byron, one of the cleaner racers in the Cup Series. The last thing I want to do is knock him out of the way for the lead, but of course I'm not going to be afraid to get aggressive, but I just didn't want to straight up hook him. And now as the rest of the lap went on, Byron would start to open up that gap. 4 laps to go. It's quite simply the equivalent to stage 1 now, so we know that there's not a lot of time, of course, with about 8 minutes left of racing here. Can we do anything with this 24 of William Byron? Chastain maintains 3rd, Bell down to 4th. Not a lot has happened in this race. One of maybe the calmest road course races we've had ever in this career mode, which feels quite different from the races we've had this season, with some surprises and, the super speedway racing that's been fantastic, and some surprise winners with Jones in the 500, and last episode with Parker Retzlaff getting his first Cup Series win. What a story that was, as well, of course, seeing Jesse Love pick up wins, but here we are kind of back into some kind of calm racing for the first time in a while, and Byron's in control, and you can see he's done the same thing all day long, and that is dominate and drive away from everybody. Now, I was doing my best to just kind of keep this 24 honest. I feel like I've used that kind of quote a few times, but that's kind of the goal. Keep him honest and keep him under pressure if possible. And we know, of course, that last half of the track, like we've talked about all day, is where we're going to have a chance to do exactly that. The first half, he's going to open up the gap, and he was doing that with 2 laps to go in this race. And I was setting my fastest laps I've ever set at this racetrack, and Byron is still driving away. It was quite frustrating now. As you can see, I've got nothing for him. So Chastain maintains third. We've got no pressure from behind, and I was just cooking it into these corners, trying to find any bit of time I could. 1.4 seconds a gap to the 24. We do reel him in on the run towards Canada corner. Look at this gap here as we approach the final lap, so hold on, it might not be over yet. We know this is our strong suit now. We got to use it to our advantage. This is still far from over. About a 1.1 second gap. We've gained 0.3 of a second over the last about 30 seconds of track time. Now, as we go into the final turn, Byron goes a bit wide. That's pretty normal, and I actually have a bit of a wobble on exit, slowing up my pace a little bit as we would start the final lap here from Road America. And now you can see the gap between myself and the 24, 0.9 of a second. The question is, how much does he open it up? That's going to be crucial right here as we come through turn 2. We close in on entry. We lose out on exit. Byron can open up that gap 1 second, 1.1. We just set our fastest lap ever here with a 2:04.453, and it's still not enough now. Byron continues to drive away as I'm just pushing it as hard as I can. He's opened up the gap to over 1.5 seconds now, and once we clear this next corner, it's game on, because that'll be our best part of the circuit right here through this right-hander. This is where things start to sway into our favor. 1.8 already down to 1.6. We're gonna sail it off into the left-hander, just a last kind of effort, and we've cut the gap down to 1.3, 1.1 seconds on the run into the carousel, a second flat. Suddenly there's a bit of hope, but we know that gap that Byron opened up in the first part of the lap is probably the difference maker, as we've got one final series of corners, one opportunity between William Byron and his first win in over a season. He's a bit slow through the bend, and now on the run towards Canada corner, we are just about within striking distance. Do we have anything for the 24 of William Byron? Through Canada corner we go, and we get closer and closer the entirety of this final half of this final lap now. 0.6 of a second through the penultimate corner, likely not close enough. We lunge it through there, still not close enough. Byron's got this taken care of. One more series of corners to go, and it's all the 24 of William Byron. We almost get there, but just not enough. What a drive from myself on the final lap. What a drive from William Byron. William Byron wins in Road America, his first win in over a season-long winless drought, and a runner-up result for us. Can't complain there, as Byron just had control that entire race. Hosts of our Busch, Reddick Logano rounding out the top 10, as you see Joey Hand up there in 14th. Ignore the 99 there beside him as well. I mean, how about Eckes 27th in his return from injury, Zilich in 29th, SVG 31st. Terrible days for them. Stingray Robb as well actually had an issue right at the end and lost a lap in the debut for him and his brand new Cup Series team. They'll be back next episode in Mid-Ohio. You see the playoff grid. Bell still on top. He's as well on top of the regular season standings over myself by 12 points right now. Of course, Eckes is not actually in the playoffs because of injury, so SVG and Hocevar are the last two actually in the playoffs right now. Next episode, another road course, which is always crazy, Mid-Ohio. I will see you guys in that one where we see if we see a new winner or maybe a repeat winner. I'm confident about our pace there. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.